Last time, we saw Geto attend his friend Oshiki's wedding and secretly take care of some uninvited guests. Meanwhile, a mysterious expert began a hunting operation. This time, to improve Geto's dating skills, Kinosaki took him to an arcade. Despite Kinosaki's guidance, Geto was still terrible at the claw machine game. However, he was a natural at whack-a-mole games that require quick reflexes. Though Kinosaki noted that this skill doesn't seem to attract many girls. While taking photo booth pictures, Kinosaki mentioned the recent buzz about the hunter of assassins. Many famous assassins had been killed one after another, including two experts. Geto commented that there aren't many people in the world capable of doing this, so Kinosaki reminded him to be careful in his future missions. After taking the photos, just as Geto and Kinosaki were about to leave, a mysterious girl blocked their way. She introduced herself as Kimai and asked Geto to protect her because she was being targeted by the hunter. Upon learning that Kimai was also an expert, Kinosaki immediately tried to pull Geto away. However, Geto felt that since she came to ask for help, she must have been desperate, so he suggested they hear her out. Upon hearing this, Kimai was so moved that she fainted on the spot. Fortunately, Geto caught her quickly, but then Kimai excitedly hugged him, attracting the attention of passers-by. After the commotion, it was time to talk business. Before that, Kimai explained why she, an expert, needed Geto's protection. As she activated her ability, a hamster named Sirius appeared. It turned out that Kimai was from the branch family of the beast users. Her ancestors were the famous rat users, but her bloodline was no longer pure. At this point, she was more accurately described as a hamster user, which led to her being ostracized by her family. Apart from the necklace around her neck, she had no other proof of her identity. Hearing that her family was planning to join forces against the hunter, she feared being targeted and thus sought Geto's protection. However, after calming down, Kimai realized that her request was unreasonable and that she couldn't afford Geto's fee. To her surprise, Geto called out to her as she was leaving, saying he was willing to take her case for a very low price. Watching Geto become more skilled at unintentionally winning people over, Kinosaki couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. So, Kimai led Geto and Kinosaki to the meeting point her family had arranged. However, all they saw was a pile of corpses. The next second, a mysterious man appeared before them. Sensing the danger, Geto quickly shielded Kinosaki and Kimai. However, in the blink of an eye, the man was already in front of Geto. Although Geto avoided the fatal spot, he was still severely injured. He asked the man about his intentions, but the man didn't plan to answer. With a reverse slash, he cut off a corner of the building, making Geto wonder if the man was even human. Realizing that the opponent wasn't holding back, Geto directly injected himself with 2 doses of poison. With the drug's enhancement, Geto punched the man and sent him flying. However, the man was not only unharmed but also casually talking on the phone. The person on the other end told the mysterious man that Geto wasn't their target. But the man replied that since Geto was a poison user, there was no need to spare him. While the man was distracted, Geto planned to strike first. To his surprise, even with the drug's enhancement, he couldn't see the man's movements. Geto asked which family the man was from, but the man claimed he was just an ordinary person. Seeing that he wasn't lying, Geto realized that the man was a rare mutant bloodline. With no choice, Geto had to inject himself with a 3rd dose of poison. However, his body could no longer withstand the drug's power, and he was eventually overwhelmed and fell down. Before dying, Geto asked the mysterious man not to harm Kinosaki and Kimai, which surprised the man. The next second, Kimai appeared with Sirius, saying that if he wanted to kill Geto, he'd have to step over her body first. Seeing that even experts were willing to sacrifice their lives for others, the man changed his mind and decided to spare Geto and his friends. The man introduced himself as Peachy. He had heard that the Beast User family was brewing a plan that would kill many people, so he planned to eliminate them before that happened. As for those assassins who didn't belong to the Beast User family, they were all scum, and eliminating them was just a side job. After all, his dream was to open a cafe with his girlfriend. If these kinds of people existed, customers wouldn't be able to relax, would they? He originally thought that Geto, being from one of the 5 great families, was also a dangerous existence. But now it seemed that wasn't the case. After witnessing Peachy's strength, Geto didn't think it was wishful thinking for him to plan to eliminate one of the 5 great families. However, although they were collectively called the 5 great families, they didn't interfere with each other, so Geto had no useful information to tell Peachy. Just that, Kimai suddenly fainted. Geto immediately realized that it was caused by the necklace around her neck. From the bat, they received an invitation from the Beast User family. If they wanted to save Kim Ai, they had to come to the Beast User family's territory. Will Kim Ai be saved? Follow my channel to be the first to know about the latest anime plot developments.